I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, thinking about the things that truly matter in life. I've been thinking about a saying I heard a long time ago. It's a powerful one. It's a truth we should all carry with us. Only in the darkness can you see the stars. This is not just a saying. It's a profound truth about the human experience. It's about finding light when the world feels heavy. It's about discovering beauty in the middle of a storm. It's about seeing hope when everything else seems lost. The origin, the story that started it all. Hello and welcome back to Light Your Life. It's your host, Clara Sterling, here with you again. Honestly, you may not believe it, but I went through a period of deep despair. Many years ago, I suffered a serious workplace injury. The doctors told me I might never walk properly again. My entire world came crashing down. I was an avid runner, you see. I lived for the feeling of the pavement beneath my feet, the wind in my hair, the rhythm of my breath, the solitude and the freedom of the open road. So clearly, my life had changed forever. I felt useless, worthless. My home became my prison. I locked myself away from the world, from my family, from my friends. I saw no point in trying anymore. It was surprising that a person as energetic as I was could become so consumed by darkness. Every single day was a challenge. Getting out of bed felt impossible. One evening, as I was sitting in my wheelchair on the porch, a sudden storm hit. The power went out completely. The entire city was plunged into darkness. The street lights went out. The porch lights went out. Everything was dark. However, as the night deepened, I saw something truly magical. The stars were brilliant, more vibrant than I had ever seen them before. They twinkled with a fierce, beautiful light. They filled the sky with an extraordinary, breathtaking beauty. I had been so used to the city lights, the artificial glow of civilization. Therefore, I had never truly seen the night sky in its full glory. In that moment of complete stillness, an idea sparked within me. A feeling of revelation washed over me. Perhaps it was time to stop focusing on what I had lost. I needed to look for the new stars in my life. The doctors said I might not run again, but I still had hope. I still had a life to live. A life that was different but not over. A life with new purposes, new joys, new passions. After all, that saying became my guiding principle. It helped me find hope again and get back on my feet. I learned to accept the painful truth. I learned to find my stars. And that is why this topic means so much to me. It's a lesson I learned the hard way. And it's a lesson I want to share with all of you today. I want you to know that your darkness is not the end. It is a beginning. It is the canvas on which your new story will be painted. The argument, the case for hope. Hope isn't just a fleeting feeling. It's a choice. It's a deliberate decision to believe that a way forward exists. This is true even when the path is not visible. Hope is a form of courage. It's a form of resilience. It's a powerful mental tool. In parallel with that, hope gives us inner strength. It is a psychological anchor that holds us in place during the storm. It helps us navigate storms, both big and small. It is undeniable that hope frees us from negative emotions like anxiety and despair. It provides a sense of purpose and a reason to get up in the morning. No need to say, when you have hope, you become stronger. You become more resourceful. You become a problem solver, not a victim. We all know that hopeful people tend to be more resilient and physically healthier. They face challenges with greater ease and are more likely to find creative solutions. They are less likely to give up. More hope is a fundamental part of human history and culture. In the darkest moments of humanity, hope has been a guiding light. Think of the enduring message in literature and art. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. This famous quote by Martin Luther King Jr. beautifully encapsulates the essence of what hope is. We must accept what is true, but we should never give up on the promise of a better future. It is a promise that things can get better. It's the belief in a future. Hope is the thread that runs through every great story, from ancient myths to modern epics. In sports, we often see teams that are behind. They are losing badly. The clock is ticking down. The odds are stacked against them. They still fight until the very end. Why? Because they have hope. They hope for a comeback. They hope for a win. Hope is a deep-seated thing. It's the engine that keeps us moving forward, even when our legs feel weak. However, hope isn't always easy to hold on to. Sometimes it can feel like a heavy burden. We have to learn to deal with failure. On the other hand, we must learn to get back up after every fall. Have you ever asked yourself, what has held you together during your toughest times? What has kept you going after all those times you fell? What was that one thing that made you push through? I would say it seems like that's hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. Hope is the belief that something good will happen. It's the belief that the pain will fade. And it's the belief that you will get through this. It is the light at the end of the tunnel. It's the first step on a long journey. Illustrative stories. The health story. Florence Nightingale and the illness. I want to tell you about someone who faced an incredible health battle. Her name was Florence Nightingale. She is known as the founder of modern nursing. What many people don't know is that she suffered from a debilitating chronic illness for most of her adult life. She contracted Crimean fever while serving as a nurse. She was often bedridden, unable to leave her room. She lived in constant pain and fatigue. Sadly, it's disappointing that her body limited her so much. But she refused to let her illness define her or stop her work. Her mind was as sharp as ever. Her passion for improving healthcare was still burning bright. On the contrary, she used her time in bed for something powerful. She became a brilliant statistician. She meticulously collected data on sanitation and mortality rates. She used her statistical diagrams to prove her theories. She made a huge impact from her sickbed. It was surprising that her work, done from her sickbed, would go on to save countless lives. She wrote hundreds of letters to influential people. She published over 200 books and reports. Thanks to that, she single-handedly revolutionized the healthcare system and established nursing schools. She had to give up the physical work of nursing, the hands-on care, but she found a new way to serve, a more impactful way. In short, Florence Nightingale found new hope in her darkness. She proved that even a body in pain cannot extinguish a powerful mind and a determined spirit. The career story, Colonel Sanders and the rejection. Let's talk about a man you all know, Colonel Harlan Sanders, the face of Kentucky Fried Chicken. But his story is not about instant success or overnight fame. It's a story of incredible rejection and perseverance. He didn't start his famous franchise until he was a senior citizen, well into his 62nd. He had a secret recipe for fried chicken. And he had an idea. He drove around the country in his old Ford. He went door to door to restaurants trying to sell his recipe. He was laughed at. He was ridiculed. He was told no hundreds and hundreds of times. Unfortunately, his idea was rejected over 1,000 times. Imagine the disappointment after the 500th no. Imagine the frustration after the 900th no. Imagine wanting to give up and just walk away. On the contrary, he never lost faith in his recipe. He never lost hope in his idea. He kept driving. He kept knocking. He kept believing in himself and his product. The unexpected thing was that his 1009th yes changed everything. That one yes was all he needed. That one yes became a global empire. Most importantly, Colonel Sanders found his hope in the middle of 1,000 no's. He proved that age is just a number. He proved that persistence can turn a dream into reality. The life story: Malala Yousafzai and the fight for education. Let me tell you about a young woman named Malala Yousafzai. She grew up in Pakistan. She was a fierce advocate for girls' education. She spoke out against the Taliban. She wrote a blog under a pseudonym, sharing her life and her beliefs. Her voice was a beacon of hope for many. When she was only 15, the Taliban shot her in the head. They tried to silence her. They tried to stop her message from spreading. How to keep hope alive. How to keep hope alive. So, how do we keep hope alive? It's not a natural state. It requires practice. It requires a conscious effort every single day. It's a muscle you have to work out. First, you should learn to accept the truth of your situation. Acknowledge your pain. Acknowledge your feelings of disappointment, sadness, or frustration. Don't try to run away from it or pretend it's not there. Then, find a small goal. This goal doesn't need to be big or life-changing. It just needs to be a small one. A step you can take today, right now. For example, you could start by exercising 15 minutes a day, or reading a book for 10 minutes, or learning a new skill for a short period of time. This builds momentum and shows you that you can still progress. Next, write down what you are grateful for. Keep a journal. Write down the good things that happened during the day, even if they are small, like a good cup of coffee or a kind word. Obviously, this will help you focus on the positive. This practice can rewire your brain to look for the good. In addition, talk to a friend or a loved one. Share your pain and your struggles. We all know that loneliness can kill hope. Loneliness can make you feel lost and isolated. Loneliness can make you feel like you are the only one in the world dealing with this. Therefore, find someone to talk to. Find someone you can trust and confide in. Besides, do a random act of kindness for someone else. Hold a door open for a stranger. Offer a word of encouragement to a colleague. This will help you feel better about yourself. It will help you see that you can make a difference in the world, no matter how small. Finally, remember that you are not alone. Everyone faces challenges. We all have to fight. We all have to deal with darkness. We all have to find our own stars. We are all in this together, on a shared human journey. Conclusion. Summary and inspiration. So, to wrap things up, I want you to remember this. Hope is not something far away. It is not something you have to wait for. It is a part of life. It's a decision. It seems like it's something that we must practice every single day. It's something that we must nurture. Hope is the strength that keeps us fighting. It is the torch that guides us through the darkness. In short, remember this saying: only in the darkness can you see the stars. Don't give up hope. Find your own stars. Learn to dance in the rain. Regardless of where you are, believe in yourself. Believe in your ability to get through this. And most importantly, remember that every single step is important. The journey is the process. It's not a destination. Hope is a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And if you suppose that you've reached the end of your rope, tie a knot and hold on. Hope is the last thing we lose. Hold on to it tightly. If you wish, share your stories with me. Tell me about the stars you've found. Tell me how you've kept going. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next time on Light Your Life.